entire life. I will keep standing up for you. I will keep fighting for you.
Our virtual tie in Iowa, the Democratic caucus. Take a look at this. Hillary Clinton, 49.8%. Bernie Sanders, 49.6%. 99% of the caucus sites have reported. In terms of state delegates, allocated 696 for Hillary Clinton, 692 for Bernie Sanders. It doesn't get a whole lot closer than that. We're waiting for a few more of these precincts to report. Maybe we'll get some final numbers in the course of tonight. John King is with us as we watch all of this. John, the blue, the dark blue are Hillary Clinton, the light blue, Bernie Sanders, and there are a couple ties I see over there.
3 counties now. It was just one a little while ago, but I guess that's proof that progress is being made, final results being called in. 3 counties are ties. So what are we missing? We have 99%. Essentially a dead heat here. The Clinton campaign is arguing they're going to come out 1 or 2 delegates ahead when the final count is done. That's what they say. Let's wait for the final count. What are we missing? Some here in Polk County, in and around Des Moines. 99% of that county reporting, so we're obviously missing a couple of precincts here. Wolf, I just went through. There's 99 counties in Iowa. I was just tapping away trying to find some. If you look just about everywhere else, you get 100%. I'll show you, though, 2 more counties. Let me shrink it back down for a minute. 2 counties up here right along the Minnesota border. Right here, 95% here. I believe the other one was right over here, 80% here in Hancock County. So you have 2 counties here, the only other 2 I could find. I'm not saying there's not another one that I missed among the 99, but these 2 at 80% here, 95% here, very small rural counties. In both counties, you see 61% for Secretary Clinton here, 62% for Secretary Clinton there. So she's winning these 2 counties where there's outstanding votes by quite a large margin, and she's also winning Polk County where there are outstanding votes by a healthy margin of 7 points. That's held up mostly throughout the night. That does not mean the missing precincts will go her way. They're just in places where she has been winning by a decent margins throughout the night. As I said, I was clicking around earlier trying to find others, and just everywhere else I've clicked is 100%. So it's a very small amount of the vote we're waiting for, but in a race so close, you can be certain not only does the state party want to get those numbers in and double and triple check them, but that both campaigns, the Sanders campaign and the Clinton campaign, are watching this very closely. And I suspect maybe we get the numbers tonight. Even if we get the numbers tonight, I'm going to bet the conversation about the process continues for a day or 3.
It's so awkward that it's taken so long. All right, we're going to stay on top of this. It doesn't get much closer. As I say, I want to go to CNN's Dan Merica. He's traveling with Hillary Clinton. You're on the tarmac in Des Moines. Dan, you're getting ready to take off for New Hampshire with the former secretary, right?
We are on the tarmac. That is correct. I can hear the engines firing up as we speak, and you'll probably hear some back chatter on the overhead messaging. But the Clinton campaign just held a press conference on the plane before taking off, and they did what their candidate didn't do tonight, and they declared victory. Brian Fallon, the national press secretary, said, "We believe strongly that we won tonight." They are citing, as John King said earlier, that Secretary Clinton has 22 delegates compared to Senator Sanders' 21. In the words of Jen Palmieri, we believe that at the outstanding precinct, we will win, and that would leave us with 23. They are looking at Polk County, places that have precincts that have yet to turn in numbers, and they also said that they're happy with the results because, in the words of Fallon, this is hospitable terrain for Senator Sanders. They think that, with the turnout the way it was, they're saying that they see the turnout in the neighborhood of 180,000 Democratic caucus goers, which would put it behind 2008, but far ahead of the 2004 results that Senator Sanders should have overperformed, as he has been saying for the last few weeks. They said that it was tailor-made for him to be successful, and they said that their strategy in Iowa, where they took their feet off the gas of attacking Senator Sanders directly for the last 10 days. They're going to continue that in New Hampshire when we land in a few hours, and her first event tomorrow morning in Nashua.
Yeah, the Clinton people are talking about delegates to the Democratic convention that's going to be coming up in July. They say that they have emerged from Iowa with a couple more than Bernie Sanders. All right, Dan Merica, have a safe flight to New Hampshire. We'll check back with you once you land as well. You just heard the Hillary Clinton campaign. They're declaring victory. We'll see what's official. Much more of our special coverage coming up right after this.
Iowa has begun tonight is a political revolution.
All right, the Hillary Clinton campaign may be ready to declare victory in the Iowa caucuses. We're not yet ready. Take a look at how close it is with 99% of the vote now in, 49.8% for Hillary Clinton, 49.6% for Bernie Sanders. Still some outstanding votes. Let's see what the Democratic Party announces officially before we declare any winner in Iowa. Let's go to Randy Kaye right now. Randy Kaye is standing by in New Hampshire, where they're getting ready a week from today for the New Hampshire primary. Randy, you were with a focus group of Democrats and Republicans getting reactions.
Absolutely. Well, if our group, I think, was watching what was happening in Iowa to maybe help them decide on a candidate. We watched it with about 60 undecided Republicans and Democrats watching all the action in Iowa. And they all had in their hand something like this. It's the Microsoft Pulse app. And on it, they were able to agree strongly by hitting the thumbs up or disagree strongly by hitting the thumbs down, and anything in between as they watched the candidates speak and as they watched the caucus results come in. Now, our group had a very strong reaction on the Republican side to this comment and this statement from Ted Cruz. Listen to this.
Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning.
As a whole, the group started to get neutral, which means that started to dip, the line there started to dip because they didn't really like what he was saying about Scripture. So let me ask you, you didn't really like that very much. Why not?
No, I thought he was pandering to the crowd. He seemed to say the same thing over and over and made the same statement just to get the crowd to believe that that's really thought. And you really can't tell if he was genuine or not, or if he was just saying it because that's what the Iowans wanted to hear him say.
And so you were undecided, you're still undecided, and I take it that Ted Cruz is off your list.
He's pretty much off my list tonight. Yeah, he was kind of up there, but now I'm more leaning towards Rubio, but I am still undecided.
Okay, let's see what the Democrats have to say over here, because Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton also spoke, and Bernie Sanders made a very strong remark about super PACs. Listen to this.
We are the only candidate on the Democratic side without a super PAC.
Super PACs clearly a big issue for this crowd, a very strong reaction. And I know you were watching that closely and had some strong feelings about it.
Oh, absolutely. I thought it was very refreshing to hear a very serious political candidate speak honestly about super PACs and about what motivates our politicians to make the decisions that they do. But I thought it was more inspiring to see that Bernie Sanders was able to really cultivate a grassroots movement and get the support of the people on his own.
Was that enough for you to decide to vote for Bernie Sanders or not yet?
As of tonight, yes.
So as I mentioned, Wolf, we had about 60 undecided voters come in here tonight, and about 10 of them left decided, a mix of Rubio supporters, Cruz supporters, and even one woman who came in on the Democratic side and switched. She said after tonight she's voting for Donald Trump. Wolf, back to you.
This contest moves to New Hampshire right now. All right, thanks very much, Randy Kaye, for that. Anderson, I know you're getting ready for a big town hall meeting in New Hampshire Wednesday night.
That's right. I'm ready to get out of here. Wednesday night, it's going to be fascinating. It's going to be Hillary Clinton, obviously, and Bernie Sanders on the same stage. It's going to be the first time they're on the same stage after the Iowa caucuses. They're going to be taking questions from myself. They're also going to be taking questions mostly from voters in a town hall. I hope you tune in for that 8 p.m. on Wednesday night. Let's get some quick final thoughts from our panel as this race moves forward. David?
Well, Iowa, instead of resolving things, has thrown everything up in the air. This is going to be a much longer campaign, and many more Americans will have a chance to have a decisive voice, and that's a good thing.
And what an exciting night. I mean, what an amazing campaign it's been thus far, and it's going to be continuing on both sides.
I would, going into New Hampshire, watch for the Republican establishment to try and get some folks out of the race so they can coalesce against Cruz and against Donald Trump and start backing Marco Rubio as their horse. And so there'll be pressure on a lot of those governors like Jeb Bush and Chris Christie and Kasich to go away.
I think the big question on the Republican side is, who does Donald Trump think is a bigger threat to him? Cruz or Rubio? Where is he going to direct his fire? I think that'll determine the contours of the race going forward.
Yeah, I think that's right. And we know the pattern after a big event like this. Donald Trump decides to throw a haymaker. It'll probably be at Marco Rubio tomorrow in New Hampshire and try and suck up all the oxygen again in the race. The other thing is, this is a resource contest. That's about to get very, very intense right now. Rubio and Cruz are probably going to start raising some big money in the next 48 hours off of tonight's result.
Yeah. Jeb Bush's day of reckoning has come. He's poured a tremendous amount of money promoting himself and trying to tear apart Rubio in Iowa to little effect on both counts, and he will have to answer for it immediately.
Wow. Chairman?
Yeah, I think Trump has to go after Rubio. I think it's going to get a little bit ugly. But I also think that Sanders in that race is going to have to change and start bringing up the trustworthiness. If you saw those numbers, no sane campaign person in the room isn't going to say, you need to make that an issue.
Mayor Nutter?
Quintessential Democratic debate, contest. It's not a coronation. There will be an active, aggressive campaign, and we'll see how things play out.
We'll see that Wednesday night.
We got more evidence tonight that the Democratic Party is moving left. It's moving left in pretty dramatic ways. And this is going to be an issue for the party for years to come, especially with young voters. They are ideologically challenging even what have been considered liberal policies. That's going to be a challenge for Hillary Clinton. It's going to be a challenge for the next Democratic president.
A lot to watch for. I want to thank you all for joining us at home. Don't go anywhere. Our special live coverage continues right now with John Berman and Poppy Harlow.
Welcome to a special It's Not Over edition of Early Stars. I'm John Berman.
And I'm Poppy Harlow. Good morning to all of you. It is Tuesday, February 2nd. We want to welcome our viewers here in the United States and around the world. What a night.
Yeah, and the breaking news is this. It is not over. It is 2 a.m. on the East Coast, and the race for the Democrats is still too close to call. If you can believe it, we are still waiting for results from a few outstanding precincts. Those votes still being counted or still being searched for, frankly. But as you can see from the tally right there, you know, it's the tiniest, tiniest razor-thin leads, a virtual tie between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders.
And when you look at the Republican side for the GOP, a blockbuster night as far as voter turnout. You saw the lines heading into the caucusing. Well, look what happened. As we see Ted Cruz declaring victory, beating Donald Trump and Marco Rubio, no question. It has been a night of big surprises on the Republican side. Perhaps the biggest surprise of the night, though, is just how much we saw the Rubio surge play out. Now he's headed to New Hampshire. All eyes turn to New Hampshire. We have a lot to get through.
Yeah, I want to bring in Chris Moody, CNN Politics senior digital correspondent. He's in Des Moines. Chris, let's start with this bizarro world we are in at 2:01 a.m. on the East Coast, where the Democratic race isn't over. Explain to me what's happening right now.
Well, you couldn't have asked for a more exciting caucus night in Iowa on both the Democratic side and the Republican side. If you talked to anyone several months ago, they would have said that this is Hillary Clinton's year. She's going to run away with this. Maybe she'll get a little bit of, attention here and there from other candidates, but not much competition. But that is not the case here in Iowa. Bernie Sanders virtually tied with her tonight. Surprising, not a lot of people that were watching this close recently, but certainly a couple of months ago. Now, after the caucus results were rolling in, all of the candidates gave speeches. Let's listen to what Bernie Sanders had to say.
Chris, do you have details on the outstanding precincts and what the Democratic Party is saying right now about where the votes are that are missing and what they're doing to get them?
Well, it's just a couple precincts that haven't reported, but in the end, it's going to come out a tie, really, as far as the narrative of what people are saying about the Iowa caucuses. Remember, for this, it's all about expectations in Iowa, and the expectation for Hillary Clinton was very high, that she would do very well. So Bernie comes out really an expectation winner on a night like this, because he has tied the person who's going to be, or supposed to be, the front runner.
I think it's interesting, too. We heard the head of the Republican Party in Iowa saying over the weekend that this was about a lot more than just who came in first. This was about who could exceed expectations. And by all accounts, that was Marco Rubio tonight. He gave a very powerful, fired-up speech. Also, we heard from Ted Cruz. What stood out from you most from what Ted Cruz, the winner, said tonight?
Well, Ted Cruz has solidified himself as somebody who's going to be formidable coming up in the next few weeks and months. For so long before, it looked like that Donald Trump was going to be the person that we were all going to watch out for. And, of course, he still has a lot of power going forward. But by Ted Cruz taking it by so many thousands of votes ahead of Donald Trump, he really came out on top. Also, Marco Rubio, of course, giving a stronger showing than anyone really expected, not just in third place, but right behind Donald Trump, who was really, a lot of people said, was supposed to take first place. Let's listen to Ted Cruz and what he said.
Tonight, thanks to the incredible hard work of everyone gathered here, of courageous conservatives across this state, we together earned the votes of 48,608 Iowans. To put in perspective your incredible victory that you have won tonight, that is the most votes ever cast for any Republican primary winner.
Now, I think that people are going to point to missteps along the way that Donald Trump had in the past. For example, here in October, listen to what he said about Iowans last year.
Now, if I lose Iowa, I will never speak to you people again. That I can tell you.
And he also said, how stupid could Iowans be? Now, he has certainly changed his tone tonight, taking something we don't see a lot with Donald Trump, and that's humility. Listen to what Donald Trump told Iowans tonight after taking second place.
We finished second, and I want to tell you something. I'm just honored. I'm really honored. And I want to congratulate Ted, and I want to congratulate all of the incredible candidates, including Mike Huckabee, who's become a really good friend of mine. So congratulations to everybody. Thank you. You're special. We will be...
Certainly a tough night for Donald Trump, somebody whose entire brand is about winning, and here he comes in second place, so he's going to have to roar into New Hampshire to really show a strong showing going forward.
All right, Chris Moody for us in Des Moines. The results again, Ted Cruz winning on the Republican side, Donald Trump in second, Marco Rubio on third. On the Democratic side, we don't know.
We still don't know.
Still counting right now. Looking for some votes from precincts.
0.2%. Let's talk about this. A lot to digest tonight on a night that is far, far from over. Let's bring in our panel, CNN political commentators, Sarah Setmeyer, Maria Cardona, Sally Cohn, and Ben Ferguson, all with us, all very opinionated folk. Let's start with the Dems. The way that I heard Tara Van Jones describe it earlier that stood out to me throughout the night was movement versus machine, right? Saying Bernie's the movement, Hillary Clinton is a machine. But actually, we have no idea what took over tonight, movement or machine.
Well, I think we do. There is some indication of that. The machine, the Clinton machine, is what the ground game was. They invested heavily in Iowa. She was embarrassed in Iowa in 2008 because they underestimated Barack Obama and did not invest in the infrastructure there. They tried to learn from those mistakes, so they started investing very early on. With that said, we all say organization is so important in Iowa, but then here you have Bernie Sanders, who came out of relative obscurity. I mean, a year ago, Hillary Clinton had 60.5% a year ago right now in Iowa to Bernie Sanders at 6.7%. I'd say now you're looking at too close to call. That's a movement.
Maria, what are you hearing from the Clinton team here? Look, they wanted a clear victory.
Sure.
There's nothing clear as we sit here at 2:07 a.m. Maybe they're going to squeak out, the tiniest of margins.
Yeah.
What does this do going into New Hampshire where they're behind also?
I don't think it changes their calculus of where they were to begin with. And you're right, absolutely they would have preferred a clear win with a wide margin. But at the end of the day, if she wins, a win is a win. But even if she doesn't win, right? I mean, let's think about this from the calculus of all of the primaries and caucuses. It would have been strange if she would have run the table. And I know that everybody talks about how she was the prohibitive frontrunner. That is the biggest myth that was perpetrated by Republicans and the media. They the Clinton campaign sat down her allies from the very beginning, more than a year ago, before she even decided to run, and said, look, you guys, this is not going to be easy. No matter who she runs against on the Republican side, she is going to have somebody run against her on the Democratic side, and it is not going to be easy. They knew this. This is cooked into their strategy. So moving forward, she's going to focus on trying to do as well as she can in New Hampshire, and then South Carolina, Nevada, Super Tuesday.
Sally Cohn, to you, when you talk about the voters that came out, here's why, let me counter-argue that Clinton perhaps should be worried. It was a lot older. The voters that came out to caucus tonight were older. That helped her when you compare it